I really did not think about a specific situation where I should have said something until this class and when I was asked to sit down and actually think about any situation. But one of the situations that does stick out to me the most would be when I look back to my sophomore year and I was put in a situation which came out of nowhere. It involved two people that were really relevant to me, one being my cousin and the other one being a close friend. But my close friend was basically sexually harassed by my cousin. Um, she did report it to the equity office, and he is no longer at the school anymore. The cousin's theoretical name is Alex, and the friend's theoretical name is Peyton. But basically, the situation happened during welcome week of sophomore year, and she didn't go and report it right away, but she went the next day. And after that, it prolonged for the entire year basically, and a decision wasn't made until second semester where he was officially taken out of the institution finally. And so basically, where the social inequality happened in this situation would be that both parties were in a organization called CIUS, which is Coalition of Indian Undergraduate Students, and he was part of a frat. She was a freshman, so not a lot of people didn't know her, but she was still involved in the community a little bit. And basically, he used his power as being president of a frat to manipulate people into believing his story, and everyone did because everyone was like, who is she and how could she have blamed someone who we have known for an entire year and basically ruined his entire life, is what everyone believed. She was never able to tell her story, and she was always treated like an outsider who was basically someone like out of the norm, who doesn't fit into a group, who basically was like shunned out of everything. She was never invited to any of the parties anymore. She was never invited to any of the social gatherings, was never included. She always felt like an outcast that no one ever wanted to be around, and which is basically what she became. And sometimes she still is, I feel like, just because of the situation that happened. And she was never allowed, or never she was never really talked about the situation to anybody. She never was able to, just because sex before marriage in the Hindu culture is very taboo. It's not talked about. It's not something that you even as a girl think about. It's not common. And basically Hindus have a like a thing where the males are always right. So if whatever a guy would say goes, something that a girl says doesn't. And that is something that needs to basically change because times have changed. But she is still treated as an outcast, and the situation is still very taboo, and not a lot of people do want to talk about it. But he could be considered as a person in the in group, which is someone that a lot of people, like a group member that identifies and feels a lot of loyalty towards. So basically, he was the main person that all of the in group felt loyalty towards and would do anything for, just because they knew him. And that situation turned out to bite them in the butt because things changed after he joined another college, and the same thing happened again where he did the same thing. He got kicked out of that institution as well. But something that I could have done differently, if I, like, looking back at that situation, was basically I am still part of CIUS, an organization, but I never stood beside her. I never said that maybe everyone should consider looking at the story from both sides, that it's not okay just to judge because you think that you know the other person and because he's part of the in group. Just, he could be wrong, which he was. And now I can't really do anything about it, but that is a situation that I wish I could go back to, rewind the clock, and basically change everything about.